Hi there, good morning and good evening to wherever you are. Today, we at SI UK is honored and delighted to have the university, the career representatives, and the people from the academic stream to guide you on the career aspects during and post your qualification in computer science in the UK. To start with, we have Brunel University, London, we have Sheffield Hallam University, we have University of York, and Loughborough University. Again, before proceeding further, I would like to invite Leanne. Hi, Leanne. Leanne is representing Sheffield Hallam University from the Career Services team. We have Jonathan representing Brunel University, London, Career Services team. We have William representing University of York from academics. We have Will and Susan along with Rita representing Loughborough University. So good morning to every esteemed panelist. Thank you so much for joining in. Okay, to start with, since students are very much keen in terms of academic, William, I have a question for you. So, considering computer science stream, it is now getting vast. Can you please comment on the integration of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science into the aspect?
Right. Okay. Great question to start on. So, in my opinion, the growth of machine learning in the last 10 years is almost like reinventing programming. So we are at the beginning of a wave that I think will be as significant as we've seen over the last 50 years with the computerization of every industry, every government process, and so on. The difference is that now it won't be driven by clever academics inventing new algorithms. That's kind of still part of it, but instead it will be driven by engineering data. So curating very large data sets in whatever it could be, like natural sciences, business, finance, whatever it is, and then exploiting the breakthroughs in machine learning algorithms and also alongside that, the hardware that makes it all possible. To answer questions and to provide services and capabilities that we just couldn't have ever achieved with conventional programming prior to about 10 years ago. So this is incredibly exciting times in computer science, and genuinely computer science graduates are going to have the opportunity to go into business, into science, into government, whatever it is, and make a huge difference by mining their data and providing useful insight from that data. So how are we reacting as an academic discipline? So like many places, at York, we've completely revised our curriculum to keep up with these developments. We've actually launched a new MSc specifically in artificial intelligence, but actually also undergraduate level, we see this as completely key. So we've kind of refocused what we teach in AI to mainly focus on modern machine learning. We cover the maths that is prerequisite for those sorts of techniques. We start that quite early, so it starts in the second year of an undergraduate degree, and it can make up quite a large proportion of the degree. There's also lots of opportunities for doing projects where you get your hands on real data sets from industry or wherever it is, to start to apply these sorts of techniques.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for giving these insights. So the key takeaway, according to me, are the key skill sets would be mathematics, number one. Then it would be leading to data mining, since data is the key today. You talk about business, you talk about development. Data would be the key. So
Yeah,
then,
can I just on skills? Sorry, I'll just add one more thing, so I didn't say much about skills. So yeah, absolutely. So mathematics underpins machine learning, but actually, if you want to go and be a machine learning engineer, you have to be quite an all-rounder, because Machine learning engineers tend to get involved in everything from messy data coming from wherever it's coming from, sometimes all the way through to developing web front ends to deploy these things. So a lot of graduates that I've supervised, I know that in their jobs that they've now got, they do a little bit of everything. So it's like at the moment it's a really broad field to get into.
Right, lovely, lovely. So machine learning again, guys, is the key. So Susan, I have a question for you for the same, since we are now integrating artificial intelligence, machine learning into the computer science fields. So we would just love to know how universities assisting students to develop the skill sets to fetch a good job in the field.
Hi, thank you. Yes. So similar probably to a lot of other careers teams at universities at Loughborough, we support students from kind of a preparation side in terms of getting ready for work. So obviously, as part of their course, they learn all the in-depth knowledge that's very specific to that industry. But we support very much in terms of the skills that they might need then to go out into the workplace as well. So it works really nicely alongside the course program as well. So we'll support them probably around their personal skills a little bit more. So that might be things like, in a professional work environment, how you sort of conduct yourself, communication within a professional work environment, teamwork, adaptability. I think a little bit like Will Smith just said, you need to be adaptable as well to sort of cope with the different tasks and responsibilities that you're going to have, and time management as well. So we would support our students in terms of making sure that they're aware of what those skills are, which the employers are really looking for, and actually putting on workshops to support them with developing those skills as well.
Awesome. It's lovely to hear the university assisting students not only to develop technical skills, but certainly the other skills aspects like time management, probably soft skills arena is being developed by the university for the students. This gives me a question for Jonathan. So, Jonathan, since if we talk about the skill sets and the students' mentality, what do you think when you come across the student? What are they looking for while they are studying with the university? The kind of part-time jobs or the career skill set opportunity they are looking for. So what do you think? What the students foresee?
Yes, that's a really good point. So I think part-time job is a really interesting one because there's a huge range of skills students can get from their part-time roles. And probably like most universities, opportunities to work both on campus. So you can work in your faculty as a student ambassador. You can work as a student rep. There's lots of jobs on kind of retail and sorts of things on campus, but also off campus. So Brunel itself is a campus university. Sometimes it's good for students to go off campus, outside of the bubble of university, and explore different opportunities, and really helping to identify some of the skills that you're developing. And I think particularly for international students, it's a really good extra way to broaden culturally a bit more about the home country, because it really gets you to work with different people, usually from the home country, but also from different parts of the world, and how you pick up those particular skills. I think particularly lots of universities have things like employability awards. So the employability award at Brunel is called the Brunel Plus Award. So we do encourage students to get all those extracurricular activities, including part-time work. And we often find that part-time work can give those additional skills and give them insight into slightly different areas that can help develop their career as well. So really, really important aspects in terms of what they do.
Lovely. So apart from the skill sets the students should have, Jonathan has given a very, very valid point, which says co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So to all the students listening around, universities are trying to say that university will definitely help you to develop overall, but this is also your responsibility to come prepared. You should have a mindset that yes, I want to develop myself overall and all round. Thank you so much, Jonathan. I'll get back to you, but for the same, I have a question for Will. Since Will, you are very much experienced with Indian market, and Indian students do have a mentality that college or the university will provide me placement. So how you tackle the mentality or the expectations of the students coming in?
Sorry, is that directed to Will Loughborough or Will York?
So this is in general. So Loughborough, how Loughborough University assists students with this mentality? Since Indian students have a mentality that yes, university will assist me with the placements.
Yeah, so I guess it depends on the academic level which they come to study at Loughborough, because at Loughborough, all of our undergraduate programs do have a placement year. Within our business programs, that's mandatory, but all of the programs, that's optional. And I think that's probably akin to what an Indian student would tend to find in a placement year in the Indian model. At master's level, we don't have the same offer other than on our MBA program. But I guess what Susan has described already in terms of our careers and support service, everything we do there is to try and support them getting into a job and to utilize a post-study work visa, which is available to them in very much the same way as they would be moving on to a placement year if they were in India. So it's not necessarily a placement year in the UK, but it's instead them moving on to what would be the start of their career proper.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much, Will, for answering this question. So I'll move to Leanne. Leanne, certainly, there are n number of students, those who want to switch from other streams of engineering to computer science. So as we also have conversion programs. So, students really want to understand, do they have the similar kind of career opportunities like the students who are already coming from computer science engineering stream?
Yeah, so that is actually a really valid point as well. What we are finding with graduate labour market information is that more and more now, employers are seeking students from other backgrounds, so other degree backgrounds as well. So I think last time I had a look at this, it was about 89% of graduate employers are actually open to people having any degree. Obviously, for some areas, they need quite a specific degree in order to be able to develop the technical skills needed. But actually, the market is becoming wider and wider now. So the people that haven't necessarily got that background in computing can kind of convert into that area as well, because the diversity is just becoming wider and wider, and employers are seeing the value of what students from other backgrounds can bring into a computing industry.
Oh, lovely. So certainly this gives me a takeaway that yes, students do have a similar kind of opportunity, but the student should develop themselves as per the required skill set. Since William, we are talking about the conversion kind of programs. So you might have encountered certain students who are from different backgrounds but are eligible for conversion program into computer science. So how do they cope up generally? What are the skill sets they require?
So I think, as has just been mentioned, a student coming from a non-computer science background into computer science is bringing something else. They have something else to offer from whatever their background was. In my experience, that means that when they work in a team, it often works really well because they can complement students that maybe have really strong technical skills, but are possibly weaker on kind of softer skills. So I think they can be really valuable team members. And as they go through whatever it is that they're studying, so like maybe a master's level course, they start to be able to blend the two. So technical knowledge with the wider skills they developed on their previous degree. Obviously, it's challenging. Probably like the most obvious area where they would have to work particularly hard to catch up is programming, because programming is fundamental in computer science, and it's something that potentially our students have been kind of hobby programming since they were, a young child. And if you're coming into the field having never done that, there's a very steep learning curve to catch up. Some students take to it naturally. I'm thinking in my head of a student that I supervised that came from linguistics. And in that case, it was a very nice match because she was already familiar with lots of the concepts to do with languages and kind of the ways that we represent languages. And she could apply that to programming languages directly. So some students will kind of just catch up with that steep learning curve. Other students maybe never become kind of hardcore programmers, but that's okay. They can go and become team leaders, project managers. They can work at maybe the user end of things, user experience, user design. They can work more at the commercial end of things. So I think there's loads. I think people have a narrow view of what computer science students do, that they're going to go and become software engineers. They're not necessarily. Many of them will go and become managers or other roles within a large organization. And it's not all about the technical skills.
Lovely. There are a few catchy points from this conversation, William. Thank you so much for bringing in the various aspects available for the students coming for conversion program, and they could be team leaders, they could be project managers, etc. So Will, since you have the diverse experience with working with various students, I just want to understand for the students from India, since Indian students are again keen with learning in and every aspect which they can for their careers. So during job fairs, what do you think? What are the employers seeking to give the employment opportunity to the students?
I'm not sure whether or not I'd be best placed to answer that question, as I don't deal with the job fairs specifically. So I don't know whether or not if someone else on the call might be able to. But what I would say with respect to Indian students is, on our London campus, we have a very, very close connection with, the office is called Future Space. So they work with industry partners, but they also work really closely with our students. And since the last few years, when we've seen Indian numbers to the UK grow exponentially, the Future Space team have seen the demand for their service also grow exponentially. So I think it's fair to say that the Indian students, the expectation from them is to get as much from the career services in the universities as possible. And we are having to redirect resources from elsewhere to ensure that we are meeting the demands of those Indian students. I think that's great, that we want to be helping the Indian students in terms of ensuring that they can be as employable as possible in the UK, and we are working to meet that demand. But in answer to what the actual employers are looking for during a careers fair, then perhaps I could ask one of my colleagues to pick up on that specific question.
Oh, lovely. Susan, can you please throw some light on the career fairs which the university organizes for the students?
Yeah, sure. I think actually I probably would echo something that Leanne mentioned a little bit earlier on, which is that a lot of employers are seeking students from, a variety of backgrounds. So it might well be from a computer science point of view that they do need a technical knowledge, but actually a lot of employers are interested in a broader I guess a broader view of what that person brings to the company. So it's not just the technical skills, it's actually, how do they work with other people? What are their kind of personal skills, a bit like we've touched on before. So in the UK market in particular, I would say that qualification and personal sort of skills are actually, quite a level pegging almost. So it's a kind of a rounded package really, which employers are looking for, and they really like to know that person's going to fit well into the company, that they're really passionate about what they do, they're really interested, and I think students that can put that across will do really well with the employers, and that's really what the employers are looking for.
Lovely. So the key takeaway for all the students here is university assist you all so that you fit in the requirement of the employers coming in to provide you employment opportunity. This gives me a question to Leanne. So Leanne, since we are talking about universities assisting students, so what are the assistance provided by the university for the students in bringing their resume or CV as per UK or European market?
So I think this is some of the things that Aaron mentioned about what we do at Hallam will probably be similar to actually what happened to other universities as well. So anyone else that does any extra, please feel free to chip in and tell them about your services as well. But kind of what we do at Hallam, so we start off from induction by giving them an overview of what the career service is, how they can access us, and then we operate on a very kind of curriculum integrated employability model, which means that we will kind of the careers team, so a department's designated employability advisor, will go into several curriculum sessions on a particular course to deliver employability related information that specifically ties in with the courses or the module learning outcomes, which provides a lot more relevant context to what the students are learning. So as an example, a lot of our master's courses, they will the students will go through a consultancy project. So they will work with an employer to go through a brief and then provide presentation on the basis of something that an employer might want, whether it's a product or a service. What we do is go through what are the expectations from the employer in order to kind of get them ready for working as a graduate or on a placement opportunity. So what are the expectations there? What are what are the skills that you are going to be using? What are the challenges that you're going to face? How are you going to overcome them? And ultimately, how that all links up with what graduate employers are actually wanting, so they can see the end goal of actually what they're going to be doing throughout their course. But also on top of that, like I said, each department has a designated employability advisor. And what we offer are short 20-minute appointments where we can go through CV, cover letter feedback, talking about interviews, applications, networking. So kind of how to get the best out of LinkedIn, things like that. Putting together a really engaging profile. But also we have, and this is something that I deliver, is one of the longer 40-minute appointments for people that are really struggling with this idea of not knowing what their next steps should be, what kind of graduate opportunity they would like. And running parallel to the curriculum integrated employability module is the central programs that we offer. So they are not specifically related to a course or a module. They are just more of the things that all students will come across throughout their career journey. That might be how to stand out to an employer, how to build resilience. But we also, and I think Jonathan mentioned this earlier as well, the awards that some universities provide. So we have the Hallam Award, for example, that provides students with an opportunity to talk about their experience that they've gained and what skills they have managed to get from that. And then they will get official recognition from the university that they are indeed capable of doing all of these things and have indeed got these skills. But specifically in relation to international students, we also have a couple of central programs that we run that are specifically tailored to the needs of international students and helping them put together a CV that reflects UK standards, general applications, understanding the language of applications and job advertisements, and just really knowing how to kind of advertise their skills and show off the skill set that they've managed to develop throughout their course. So I'm sorry that is a bit of a long-winded answer, but there is a lot of kind of support available for students or all universities, not just Hallam.
Oh, lovely. That's really appreciable. So the students, you all are going to one of the best destination to study, because I am pretty much sure while listening to this, you all are now gearing up to get all sort of assistance provided by the universities, like you will be getting induction program, you will be trained on the employability models, you will be specifically trained on the curriculum aspect which you will be requiring in the employee domain, you will be guided on how to overcome the challenges, your career goals would be aligned to the job opportunities, etc., etc. This gives me a question for Jonathan. So Jonathan, since we are talking about resumes, we are talking about CVs, and there would be many Indian students nowadays who are very much keen with one of the mindset, which is innovation and entrepreneurship. And this leads to a question: if a student is having any sort of patent, does it help to land a good job comparing to all the other students in the UK studying with the same course?
So that's a really, really interesting question. So entrepreneurship and kind of employability go really much hand in hand. And I'm sure colleagues from other universities have very similar sorts of programs. So within our university, we do quite a lot around entrepreneurship and a lot about fostering the skill set and the mindset of being an entrepreneur. And actually, they're real skills that when we speak to employers, they really are very appealing, because you have to overcome challenges, there's resilience, there's innovation, there's ideas. So I'd very much encourage kind of students coming in, if they've got innovative ideas, if they've got ideas for a startup or something like that, to really speak to their universities, because many universities will have a huge amount of support available. I can give you an example of how they're supported here, for example, at our institution. So we have a small entrepreneurship team, and a lot is focused on ideation. So if you have an idea, how that's fostered, how that's developed. So we have freelancers who come in and do kind of things like business model canvas to help you tease out your idea and to really kind of understand a little bit more, is it a viable option? And then we can kind of start to build it out from there. There's also a mentoring program that you can be mentored with another entrepreneur. So you can help kind of progress along those sorts of journeys. And many universities will also have seed funding available. So you can win a certain amount of funding to help develop your idea and start to help it grow and see if you can kind of progress it even further. Now, you can do this all alongside your studies, which might sound a bit of a challenge to many students on the call as well. But there's lots of different ways that you can foster that. And so I think it's a really important point. I'm really glad you raised that, Jan, because often entrepreneurship is seen as completely separate as part of your course. We do have, and probably many universities have specific modules within a program that you can choose as an optional module if you're interested in entrepreneurship. So you can actually make it an integrated part of your course. So that's the other thing to start to consider when you include things in there. But the other thing is really mention that in terms of an employability skill. It's an amazing employability skill and one that really helps you stand out. And I think one of the things that all our students are trying to do is stand out from the crowd. When you're applying to a job and there's 100 applicants, how do you stand out? And these are the things that give students the edge: employability, those sorts of transferable skills. So it's a really, I would say, a really good opportunity to kind of dive into. So when looking at university, do have a look at the provision you have for kind of entrepreneurship, both within the curriculum and also as an extracurricular activity. And I suppose I've just got one other point to add. One of the things we've started a little bit more in our institution is around industry challenges as an extracurricular activity. And many UK universities do this within the curriculum, but also outside. So an industry will set a live brief, and you work in a small group with people from across the institution, so not from the same course as you. And you have a set period to be able to kind of find a solution to this challenge. So we in Brunel have partnered with some big organisations, some commercial organisations, and also third sector. And that actually gives you a stepping stone into entrepreneurship if you don't have that huge, amazing idea that you've kind of discovered as well. So there's lots of different scales that you can get involved as a student.
Lovely, Jonathan. It gives me a goosebump because the kind of support I'm hearing today for all the students coming to UK, it is immense for them. Thank you so much. Now I'll go to Suzanne. So Suzanne, since our students are really expecting to more about what kind of support or what do actually career services do for the students when the students join in a university, since if they are coming for master, they only have one particular year to earn their academic laurels and also to get good employability aspect. So what role does this career services play into their lives?
Yes, thank you very much. I can answer that one, and you're right. For the master's students in particular, it's a really short period of time that they've got from entering kind of to start the course to actually gaining all those employability skills as well. So I mean, we provide, again, like a lot of other universities. So at Loughborough, we provide guidance, we provide support, we provide access to resources and platforms which the university kind of subscribe to, so that students can access those. So it's a whole kind of range of things, but also similar to, I think, has been mentioned before, we do tailor that then specifically to international students, because we know it's coming into the UK is going to be probably a new experience, and certainly it's a new experience anyway, but certainly from an employment point of view, it's new too. So we would support them with the aim for them to sort of then go and find a job, but we will support them in every step on the way to know, you know, when to start applying, how best to shape their CV, what to mention, what to highlight. Again, it's going back to what kind of employers want to see. So making sure that your CV really kind of tailors or mirrors the things that the employer is looking for, but then we can also help them with introducing them to employers, so through careers fairs or events. We at Loughborough, we also run for masters in particular, thinking about that short period they've got to get those experiences. We run short-term internship program, which is specific to Loughborough students. So we go out and we create opportunities with employers that we have relationships with and contacts with, who are very much open to working with international students. So they create an opportunity, a short-term paid kind of period where students can actually put their kind of knowledge into a real life situation, get paid for that as well, but also gain that real kind of valuable in workplace experience of seeing what it's like to kind of to do that. So yeah, there's support every step of the way. Obviously the students need to kind of find that opportunity themselves and apply for it, but we can support them with everything, you know, even down to kind of practice interviews, so that they can really feel comfortable about how to go about doing those, how to put themselves forwards best, how to answer, you know, again from a cultural point of view, how to kind of behave, what's appropriate, what's maybe not, so that they feel really comfortable when they do actually go for those opportunities as well.
Oh, that's awesome. So this is a tremendous opportunity for all the students, because university will not only assist you, but they have certain industrial relations, wherein Susan just have told us that they are really, really eager to take international students and give them employment opportunity. So this is one of the golden chance. So this is my personal recommendation to all the students who are flying to UK. As in, when you are learning to UK, starting with your academics, do consult a career services team as soon as you can, because they will definitely now will rolling out to shape your CV and then your future. This gives me a question for Will. So Will, since you know we would really want to take the advantage of the vast experience you have, probably working within various sectors. So what are now the key skill sets wherein the students are employed for? Since, you know, considering again Indian students.
Yeah, again, that might be a question for one of my careers colleagues on the call. But what I would say is what we've started to introduce here at Loughborough and our Loughborough University London campus is the networking opportunity for those Indian students who remain in the UK to meet at a very early point in our new students' career. For them to meet with each other, so they can learn from the experience of those who come before them in a one-to-one networking opportunity and to create a community. You know, we're seeing more and more Indian students take advantage of a post-study work visa here in the UK, and whilst we still have those Indian alumni in London or wherever in the UK, is to get them to meet with our incoming Indian students as soon as they can. And I guess that just leads on to what Susan suggested, is to start that process as early as possible, and that is what we're starting to do. But in terms of the skills, that again is probably a question for one of our careers colleagues.
Okay, so let me switch to Leanne. Leanne, since you know, again, if I talk about Indian students, they are full of aspirations, and definitely when they are coming to UK, they are coming with banks of aspirations which they want to fulfill. Now it comes to university, because now the student is all yours. So we really want to understand, if a student is lacking in some of the aspects of employability, how you shape that student so that the student is completely employable.
So I can kind of give you a very kind of well-rounded answer to that, but obviously it will very much depend on the specific needs of the students as well. So we do get them to do a skills identification check to kind of really develop their self-awareness, to be able to look at what are the skills I have, what are the skills that they feel that they're lacking in, but also doing some exploration and some research into current jobs that are advertised in the kind of area that they're interested to go into, to then assess their skills against those specific requirements as well, and anything that they feel that they are lacking in. So from kind of a careers perspective, if there's anything on the technical side of this, then we'll encourage them to have a chat with their academic advisor to see if there's any extra support or anything that they can do to kind of build up those more technical skills. Other than that, it's more generally looking at what those skills building exercises are. And this could be anything from undertaking part-time work where they'll be able to develop some of those soft skills that are needed to go into any kind of industry. But also, if they're already doing that kind of thing and they feel like they need something extra, we then direct them towards volunteering opportunities. They can be external to the university, but also the Hallam Students' Union do provide volunteer opportunities for them as well. But when we have that one-to-one discussion with them, we really focus on what are the skills that you feel that you need to develop and what are the best opportunities. So rather than kind of doing a bit of what they call the scattergun approach, to kind of looking at all different opportunities, we focus on the ones that they are going to get the best outcome from, that are going to kind of help them specifically build those skills that are needed, either for themselves or to go into the specific industry. We also, and this is not looking from the student's perspective in the sense of what they feel that they are lacking, but we also answer to the graduate employers as well. So we have regular labour market information reports where the graduate employers will tell us what they feel the graduates are potentially lacking in. So, for example, one of the things that we've had recently is concerns around lacking self-confidence or self-awareness or resilience, and we will react to that by putting on workshops that will help students develop that, or even just recognise what resilience is. Because sometimes it's not necessarily a case that a student feels that they don't have that skill, it's that they've got that skill, they might not necessarily have the confidence to be able to showcase that skill, or it might be that they're not actually quite sure what a particular skill is. For example, resilience is something that for students anywhere, whether that be international or students based in England, might not necessarily understand the concept of it. So we will put on sessions to react to that, to be able to show, to kind of define what those skills are, what students have done to showcase you've already got that skill, you've got it right there, you just didn't realise it, or you didn't have the confidence to be able to sell that skill.
Oh, that's lovely. So thank you so much, Leanne. I can particularly take one of the key aspects, which is one-to-one discussion. Students, I personally believe that this is the right opportunity for any student if the university is ready to provide you one-to-one assistance, and that's the key with our UK universities. William, this gives us a question for you. Earlier, computer science was computer science, but nowadays it is integrated with data science, AI, ML, cloud computing. So for a student, how to decide post qualifying from computer science, which would be the best aspect for him based on your experience?
Okay, so I mean, computer science has always been a broad subject, and I would say that the things you just mentioned are sort of skills and areas that are fashionable and in demand. But it is like computer science has its own fundamentals, and I would say the first thing I would say is that any computer science graduate should be really solid on the fundamentals. The reason is because it's a fast-moving field, these fashions change. So if you equip yourself with just like a list of currently fashionable skills, like I'm good at this programming language, or I can use this tool. That's quite a dangerous position to be in, because you may well find that falls out of favor, is no longer used in industry or something like that. So of course you will have a set of skills like that you can offer to an employer on day one. But actually, kind of the point of coming to study computer science at university is to also be solid on the underlying fundamentals. And those things don't change, and it makes you more adaptable. So our graduates, when they go and do a year in industry, what we hear back from employers all the time is that they love the fact that our students are adaptable. So they may arrive in a company where the standard programming language is something we haven't taught the students. But because they understand the fundamentals of programming and algorithms and data structures, they can adapt when they arrive, and they can quickly pick up these new skills. Okay, so that's kind of I guess the academic end of the answer to your question. The other end is, okay, there's all these exciting areas now, and certainly there are career opportunities in all of them. So, all of those things you mentioned, you can go and become whatever, a cloud engineer, a machine learning engineer or something, and how do you choose? So I'd give two parts of my answer. One is what I said before, you have to actually be broadly skilled. So you're unlikely to be useful if you only have really good expertise in one of those areas. So having like the full breadth, it's sometimes called DevOps, meaning that you won't only be a developer, you will also have to have skills related to deployment and monitoring and infrastructure backend. And like those two things have become much more closely integrated in the last 10 years. So you will need breadth whatever you do. In terms of what you actually choose to do, I don't think I can give you an answer to that. I think what you should do is find out what you like while you're studying. And you do that through optional modules. So you start to develop an interest, maybe in AI, maybe in systems, backend, maybe like hardware, whatever it is. And you can start to specialize through the modules that you choose. The other big thing is when you do an individual project, that's an opportunity to get really deeply into one niche area and to try that out potentially before moving into a career in that area. And I guess the last thing to mention, part-time work has already been mentioned. If while you're studying, you can get some technical experience. So I think there's two purposes to part-time work. One is just to earn some money. That's fine. You might just want to do that. But if you can do something that actually grows your CV and gives you new skills, that's even better. And one of the reasons is it gives you a chance to try one of these things, find out if it's for you.
Lovely, lovely. So this is one of the greatest key takeaway for all my dear students. You really need to decide, although computer science is very, very, very vast field, but based on the modules you will be taught particularly. I feel like before entering into the university, you should decide, okay, this is the module particularly. I feel that this is for me, and I want to particularly develop myself into the modules and would like to have the employment opportunity further. That's a lovely key takeaway. Thank you so much, William, for this. Jonathan, now I have a question for you. Since again, we are talking about careers, so can you please throw some light on the part-time jobs available for international students based on their skill sets?
Yeah, and I just have to say, William, I'm so pleased you mentioned about part-time work, and the opportunities it provides is huge. If I give an example, just within the computer science department within Brunel, they've just started a student consultancy project where the academic has built up links with specific smaller organizations, and the students actually get paid to work on real life projects. And these are the things that, help develop the students, and also you get exposures, as William mentioned, to all sorts of different projects, different organizations. And the other big thing we touch on is the soft skills or the transferable skills. So not only having the technical skills, but when you're client facing, you're able to communicate, you're able to explain, you're able to influence and bring people on board, you'll be able to overcome challenges, all the practical skills that we all need in that workplace, and how we can give as many simulations of that before someone graduates is really, really important. So come back to the question in terms of part-time work, there are a huge range of part-time opportunities. So probably like many other organisations, so Leanne and Suzanne, we have a job shop. So students can come along, there's a physical presence on campus, a bit like a recruitment agency. And I think particularly if you're on a master's program, time, as we've mentioned, goes very, very quickly. There's lots to get used to culturally, the new way that you work here. And also it's hugely exciting, come to a new city, it's a big adventure. So you want to make absolutely the most out of it. So we have a job shop. You can go for practical things where they check your CV. You have a list of vacancies. We have a list of opportunities both on campus and off campus. So they give you opportunities if you're in halls of residence, for example. It's very convenient to do something on campus because you have no transport time or costs. So it makes it easier to balance your studies. But then part-time work, if you can get some of that more skilled part-time work, I think that's really, really helpful. There are lots of quite specialist websites where if you, particularly the technical skills, and I was just looking through some of the data that we have in terms of graduate salaries. So probably like most universities, our computer science students are the highest earning graduates 3 years after graduation by a significant margin. And that could well be a motivation, probably not the only motivation at all to do that sort of thing, because it's a hugely exciting field. But if you do have technical skills, there's some real opportunities open to you for part-time work. So as well as more traditional kind of part-time jobs that generally students take up in retail, in working in events, you may be able to find some really good technical experience. And particularly departments have picked that up. I said within Brunel, our kind of one of our leading kind of academics in the department has picked that up and set up a whole student consultancy program so that you can actually go and get paid for that particular work. But there'll be lots of other opportunities to do that as well. And particularly on the entrepreneur space, we work with lots of entrepreneurs and they have the ideas, but the technical expertise is something they have to buy in. So often a stepping stone before they pay huge commercial rates is to see about employing students. So we do have a relationship with a lot of the entrepreneurs there. So, a lot of universities are connecting those dots and making it easy for students to find those particular part-time jobs.
Lovely, lovely. So to all the students, this is one of the key aspects that yes, university have certain connections, not only with the industries, but also with the local entrepreneurs who are ready to provide you part-time job opportunity, which will give you two aspects. Number one is part-time earning, obviously. Second, it would give you the corporate advantage before you work full-time. That's lovely. That's lovely. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for this, insight. Now let me go to Will. So Will, certainly, again, you have very much expertise with the Indian students specifically. Indian students are jumbled up with London in the other parts of the UK. So generally, Indian students feel that London is that place which will provide all sort of opportunities, irrespective of the other places. So how to, guide the students for this?
And that is probably fair to say as well. So we do have our main campus is in Loughborough, which is a relatively small town in the UK, but we do also have a campus in London. Going back to the part-time jobs as an example, we do find that students who get part-times in Loughborough may be on campus, or they may be in bars, cafes, restaurants in the Loughborough town. And going back to what William suggested, those jobs at Loughborough would tend to be helping with the soft skills side of things, and also with the pocket money. Now, those students which we find in London will of course get those jobs, but there is perhaps a little bit more opportunity for them to gain some more technical skills in computer science, or whether or not it's in a different subject field which they have, and that is just by virtue of there being, however many more times a number of those industries jobs, part-time jobs available in London as compared to Loughborough. I think there is also, going back to the Future Space team, who, as I said, they link industries in London with the experience of students whilst they're studying their master's degree. There are examples of our students either doing consultancy projects, which is part of the curriculum, which is called a collaborative project, and working part-time with companies who then will go on to work for those companies as part of their post-study work visa as well. I'd like to say that we have those opportunities at Loughborough, but the scale of what we have at London is just much, much larger. again, passing over to Susan, who works on this a lot more closely than I do. I don't know if there's anything for you to add on that.
Yeah, I can add to that. So I think there are still, a number of opportunities, not just in London. Obviously, there a lot of the bigger companies maybe are based there, but I think more and more companies are looking to sort of try and locate in different areas of the country. And we know that the Midlands, so for example, that would encompass, so us, Sheffield, and then sort of going further north as well. There are, a lot of really good companies as well that are very much out there wanting to kind of engage students and sort of bring in new knowledge, new talents into their companies. So we are finding that there are still a good number of opportunities, and students who are here as an undergraduate and have that opportunity to do a year placement are getting jobs all over the place. And like we've touched on before, it might not be a very specific technical job that they do to get experience. It could be something that's a bit broader, still within the computer science or IT industry, but it could be something that's related to that, but not specifically very detailed programming or anything like that. So, and that really broadens out the opportunities that students have to get those work experiences, so that it isn't so sort of tied to necessarily having to find something in London, for example. So I think that there are opportunities all around, and I guess it depends on the kind of opportunities that students would like to find. But I think there are ranges of part-time and sort of year-long opportunities that they can get to really get that taste of work.
Lovely. Thank you so much for giving this answer, because every Indian student has this question in mind: London. That's the only key. But students, this is not the only key. As per the experiences shared by Will and Suzanne, we do have opportunities across the UK, and specifically, yes, again, but as far as the academics is considered, your skill set would be the key. This gives me a question to Leanne. And Leanne, now, since we are running short of time, so I would request all the panelists along with Leanne to quickly give the answers. Since now, if we talk about the job market, apart from the assistance provided by the university, what do you think, what would be the best sites the student should work on? Just like, it could be Naukri.com, it could be Indeed, it could be LinkedIn for that matter, something like that.
Yeah, so Indeed is something that students can use, but I admittedly don't. It's not the first thing I tell students to go to, because there are so many jobs on there that actually are tailored to graduates as well, that it can be a little bit overwhelming for students to use. I tell people to focus on those websites that are specifically tailored to graduates and to current students. So they are things like prospects.ac.uk, targetjobs.co.uk as well. There's also Handshake, which is a system that quite a lot of universities have signed into, which is a jobs platform where companies can advertise specifically to university students to advertise all of their different opportunities on there as well. You've also got things like Grad Cracker, which are specific to STEM type subjects. So a lot of IT jobs will be on there as well. Very good one to use to kind of really think outside the box of other companies that might be looking to advertise IT type roles. I also tell people, look at company websites directly as well. Absolutely look on LinkedIn, because there will be jobs that are advertised on there that you don't necessarily find in other forums. But it's worth as well sending out speculative applications to companies. So if you are interested in a particular company, send your CV and cover letter to them, even if they aren't advertising for a job. See what may come from that by telling them what your skills are and the kind of experience that you're looking for.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much for highlighting prospects.ac.uk. So students, this is one of the sites which will provide you every insight about what computer science is, what do computer graduates do, what are the job opportunities students are associated with, the key prominent responsibilities the employers are giving to their employees, and not the less salary aspects. So this is one of the key, and this gives the direction towards Jonathan. Since Jonathan, your expertise into handling students, we have certain question in respect of what if the student has passed out from the university and now also wants to seek assistance from the university for further growth or part of employment. How do university assist?
So that's a very good question. Actually, lots of us have just had graduations in the last couple of weeks as well. So it's a very apt question. So lots of universities offer full access to their service for a period after the university. So we're at the institution I'm at the moment, that's 3 years. Other universities, it generally varies between 1 and 3 years. Some universities, it's for life. But essentially that means students can get full access. So wherever they are in the country, and I think one of the things we've all started operating in this hybrid environment, that opens up a real accessibility, which wasn't previously easily done before. So now that we can book all virtual appointments, if you're still in the UK, fantastic. If you've actually returned to another part of the UK or another part of the world, you can still access the service. And crucially, you get that kind of coaching and that careers advice. And I think that's really important. Your first year after graduation, there's lots of finding your feet in terms of, you know, building up your work experience. Maybe your first job is a stepping stone to get where you really want to get to after 2 or 3 years' time as well. And I think that's where the careers teams in the UK are very, very well versed in terms of supporting you through that kind of process. You can also come back to careers fairs as well. So if you're in the campus, so careers fairs happen throughout the academic year, you can come back and see those. We have a lot of students come back and see our entrepreneurship team, actually. So as your business develops, it always takes a little bit of time and never happens overnight. So they keep in contact and they can access all the services for up to 3 years afterwards. So I would definitely say keep that relationship there. And I don't know if we have anyone from alumni on the call, but obviously the universities are actually really strengthening their relationships about their alumni community. So in India, we'd have chapters in India. So for Brunel, I'm sure other colleagues on the call have exactly the same. So just building up that community, and some are very proactive and really can just, you know, we've touched on networking, Will touched on networking when in London, connecting to previous students. It's so powerful, the networking and making those connections and being proactive. So not just virtually and using LinkedIn platforms, which are really important, but that face-to-face networking and actually physically going out and making those connections are really what can open up the doors and sometimes build lifelong connections in terms of your career.
Lovely, that's incredible. So students, you need not have to worry. Even if you are the graduate of the university, university is still there to assist you, provided you are having a good network with the university along with the alumni you have. Since, you know, again, let me go to William. William, this question is from academics, which we have received from the student just now. The student wants to understand the differentiation of the key aspects between cloud computing and data science.
Okay, so I mean, I would say that they're two very different things. So data science is about the algorithms and methods for extracting useful information from data. So it might be that you want to spot a trend, detect an anomaly, make complex data interpretable to a human, so visualize something. It might be that you want to forecast what you believe is going to happen in the future, or detect when something has changed in the world, so when there's been a sort of phase shift into a new kind of model. So those would all be topics for data science. Cloud computing is much more general. It's about shifting computation basically away from so like the opposite of cloud computing is edge computing, where the computation is actually happening right at the interface. So it could be on someone's mobile device, it could be on an embedded system. And I guess the relationship between data science and cloud computing is that some aspects of data science and machine learning require very large computational resources, so very powerful compute servers. And in that case, we tend to put that in the cloud, and then whatever your interface is, so maybe it's a mobile device, is sending data to the cloud, the expensive processing or the important data storage is happening there, and then the result is being sent back. So cloud computing as a career, it's more about the sort of infrastructure to support those things. So managing large data sets, the hardware and software and the stack that supports all of that.
Okay, thank you so much, William, for differentiating between these two aspects. Now I'm pretty much sure the student who have posted this question is clear with what to be taken. Susan, I have a question for you, since the student is really keen to know what are the various skill sets apart from programming language, hardware architecture and construction, network design and engineering, software engineering. Apart from these kind of skill sets, what are the other key skill sets necessary for a student to have it in their CV?
So I can answer that probably more from the personal skills side, which we've touched on a little bit, rather than the academic specifics. So in terms of the personal skill set, I think it would be the key skills which employers are looking for. And I think we've mentioned a couple actually. So in terms of understanding what it's like to work in a professional environment as opposed to an academic university environment. So being able to get along with colleagues, working in a team, but also being able to take on responsibilities yourself for your own tasks that you need to complete, making sure that you can communicate well with colleagues, with peers, with managers, so people at different levels. We'd also recommend things like adaptability and flexibility, so having kind of that mindset that, okay, I can't do it this way, I need to find another way that I can do it, or this might not be my usual way of working, so I need to adapt to a different way of working. And also I think, yeah, just being kind of friendly and approachable as well is the key thing. So it's all those personal skills, and a lot of them are about kind of a mindset, how you approach the work environment, and being able to sort of collaborate and work together.
Lovely. So interpersonal skill is the key here from Susan's statement. Okay, yeah. Just now within 15-20 seconds, I would love to hear something from you also, starting from you, Leanne. Leanne, your last few words for the students who are attending this panel discussion.
Well, you're putting me on the spot now. I would say, in preparation for potentially starting a course coming over here, have a think about the skills that you've already got. Maybe start having a look now at some of the opportunities that we have here in the UK. Just have a look at those skills that people are asking for, and just kind of have a think about what have I already got, what are the things that I feel that I need to develop on, in order to kind of have that goal in mind, to then be able to utilise, like we've said before, doing a master's is quite a short space, of time. So really having that end goal will allow you to have that focus in order to know what you need to develop within that short space of time.
Lovely. Thank you so much for these last words for the students in this panel discussion. Well, certainly, I would love to hear from your experience, few words for the students who are, listening to us.
Yeah, I think really just to summarize what I've learned today in the last hour is to start early. Start even before you come, as Leanne suggested. Take every opportunity that the university will afford to you, every opportunity and every service that the university has, and to network with those people who have been there before you. Every university, I'm pretty sure, will provide plenty of opportunities, plenty of service, and plenty networking opportunities. So take advantage of all of it.
Oh, inspiring. Thank you so much, Will, for these words. Jonathan, your few words for our students.
I think Leanne and Will have covered all the key things. The only one other thing I'd say is around experience. So think and reflect on the experience you've got, and thinking about how you can build up experience when in the UK. Often the feedback we get from employers is they want location or country-based experience. So if you've got some really good experience from your home country and from India, think about how you could build that up. And that doesn't always have to be paid. We've touched on volunteering. I think Leanne mentioned volunteering. Even if there's volunteering things you can get involved with, there's a society, there could be kind of a computing society, a robotics society. Think of creative ways that you can build up experience, and think about what that looks like on your CV and the talking point when you're going for interviews.
Magnificent. Thank you so much for these lovely words. Bring some experience, bring something with you students. That would be the key. William, just last words from your end for our students.
Yeah, okay. So I think as a subject, computer science is fundamentally about problem solving. And what we really want from our students, and then when they go and graduate, is we want them to take initiative in solving problems. So like my relationship with my students is a bit like they will have with their manager when they're in the workplace. And what I want is students who arrive at meetings able to summarize what they've been working on with a list of questions they want to ask so that they can, get some help and not be stuck, and plans for what they're going to do next. And I think anyone can develop that sort of mindset and approach to solving problems, and then they can take that into the workplace.
That is incredible. Students, you really have to be problem solvers, and that's the key in computer science. Thank you so much, William. Suzanne, few words for our students.
Thank you. Yes, I think, as we said before, everyone said a few bits, but I think what I would probably say is that just to embrace the opportunity. So make the most of your time. And I think what you put into your time in university in the UK is you will get back. So the more you put into it, the more you will kind of gain and learn and develop from it. I think it's about being curious, and I think it's about really taking the chance to understand different viewpoints, different cultures, different approaches. And I think by having that experience, that will really set you up well for, being able to cope with what happens next, and different environments that you'll find yourself in.
Magnificent. That's lovely. So this is the time to, summarize what all things we have discussed. So guys, yes, UK is one such place which allow you to grow further and live your dream. The computer science field is awesome, which is giving in number of opportunity, provided you are geared up. For this, universities are really ready to assist you, not only with the skill sets required by the employers in the UK, but also with your interpersonal skills. But for this, there is a catch. You should be proactive. You should be very much involved into build your networks, and you should bring something with you on your side before arriving in the UK, so that the people like these we have in our esteemed panelists are, more than helpful for you. Last but not the least, teamwork. This is one of the key which we have done for yourself. Just like that, we expect from you. Obviously, you should be problem solver, because this field is properly related to problem solving aspects. You should manage your time wisely, and you should be commercial aware. Hence, as soon as you arrive to the UK, please, please, please do consult your, team of career services from the universities. Thank you so much to all our esteemed panelists. I know that this is really difficult to, spare these kind of time during Christmas, obviously, since we all are under festive mood in the UK. But yes, you all have made it for the students, and this is what gives us an inspiration that yes, we have to do more for our students. So thank you so much for joining in, and we really appreciate your presence, your expertise, and your guidance for all our students. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It's
Jayan.
time to
Thanks
say
for organising.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Okay.
you.